Oops. All right. Okay, whatever. All right. To continue. So guys, I found some time to speak about part 2, so I'm gonna continue. The last thing I remember, I was talking about something in relation to narcissism. See, I think I wanted to give even a narcissist an explanation of why the advanced civilization would be the greatest outcome. These lectures have become kind of me trying to prove in all aspects of humanity that the advanced civilization is the greatest idea in the world. One of the greatest, the greatest idea in the external world. In the inner world, the greatest idea is God. That means to the mind, the greatest value is the divine. To the body, the greatest value is the greatest structure. I'm pretty much saying, hey guys, we're in a type of civilization right now. How about we go in an advanced civilization? What is the value of an advancing civilization? So when that day comes that humanity has advanced to the point, okay, so the explanation to the narcissist would be like selfishness. So the selfishness, the ego is like, I need to win, I need to preserve value, I need to survive, I need to be victorious, right? That's the ego. Now, if a person wanted to be like, okay, let's imagine the most victorious version of myself. How could I know the most victorious version of myself if I am not in a victorious world? So you actually need the most advanced self. The only way you can see your most advanced self is to see your most advanced self in its most advanced world. So narcissistically, egotistically, or even selflessly and saintly, and whatever attitude you have, we want to preserve something, but if the world isn't great, how can our greatness be verified, justified? It's like, yo man, I was great in an ungreat world for a little while. What a great guy. Let me put my name in the history books. Do you know history had to be written by selfless saints, or it was contaminated by self-glory? Do you know? I want to prepare the human civilization for such a level of advancement that like the moment the advanced humanity, the sleeping giant, wakes up, this revolutionary force within how the human being is considering the human framework, we're no longer people that are symbolically related to our language, culture, and land. We have become an entity that is acknowledging the actual game. It was like we were in level 1, now we've come to level 2. The level 2 of the species is, what is this? Okay, so level 1 game is, what am I gonna do in this life? Like, that's level 1 of the video game of Earth. The level 2 of video game of Earth is, what is my species going to do in the void? Then you become responsible for not everybody. You become responsible for the destiny of your species. You suddenly feel like you have, this is a very strange thing to say, but you will suddenly feel, an advanced communicator may feel, there are invisible armies enlisted to their attention. What does this mean? That means once you become responsible for something that is deeply influential to everybody's lives, the world cares for that which has cared for the world. Do you understand? It's like there's this strange force in this world of ours that the moment we care for something, and what is love? Why have we made some sort of fantasy land out of love? Love is when you care for something even more than your own being. So when somebody loves humanity, they cannot stay idle when chaos and order are at war. Like every person right now hearing my talk, you might be indoors, lying on your couch, on your bed, in some comfortable situation, right? Not realizing beyond that bubble there is a battle of organized human behavior against disorganized. This whole time, there has been a war of efficient and inefficient decisions being made by 8 billion human beings, right? And so the destiny of humanity is how we can shift the ratio, right? That means if you are someone who right now you hate the world, you hate yourself, you hate everything in it, you are blessed. Let me tell you why. Because your brain has managed to attain a complex, chaotic archetype and version of reality. So if your brain just wanted to see the reverse of that geometry, you would instantly have access to an advanced civilization. So the further the chaos, the greater the order. The deeper the chaos, the deeper the order. The deeper the order, the deeper the chaotic variables. It's the same thing for the known and the unknown. The more something is deeply unknown, the more the known becomes significant. If we knew everything, being a human being wouldn't be that significant because the knowledge is not a mystery. We're right now like, yo, imagine like honestly, like in an honest family, the child comes up to the parents and says, "Parents, where are we? What is this world?" And the honest answer would be like, "Let me explain it to you, son. This world you're in is actually a giant question mark. Nobody knows what's going on. We all have theories. And then we have theories which have been proven. That means inner models of reality have aligned to outer models of reality. And then we are saying this is a world. So I'll be like, I don't know, kid, but I know that this is the story the species is telling itself now. And guess what? You're born as a human being and you can go where no human being has gone before. You can tap into worlds that are waiting to be discovered. Why? Because the advancement of humanity is an interstellar initiative. It has begun. The consciousness has reached a point where it has noticed the mysterianism of the complexity. What does that mean? That means the human evolution has reached beyond the prime directive point that, for example, sci-fi literature talks about. Right, so the prime directive was this, I think it was Star Trek idea that an advanced civilization, a species cannot disturb or interfere with smaller, lower evolutionary species. We are no longer a lower evolutionary species because we've noticed the complexity of our world. Right now, you're as a complex of an organism as your world is complex. So if somebody asks you, "Hey man, what kind of world are you in?" The advancement of civilization is the greatest external outcome. The advancement of being is the greatest internal outcome. To have a human being that can walk into a space station like like it's a coffee shop, would be something equivalent to like how often has this action been done by my ancestors. So for example, communication is no biggie because our ancestors have done it. Movement is no biggie, our ancestors have done it. So anything we notice is possible, we relax our mind with. If you just realize an advanced opportunity is possible, your mind animates in a very fascinating way. Who you become is how far you've seen things. And when someone listens to understand, what does that mean? You are listening to see a film. Somebody, I think it was an article or something I was reading, where it was about how people remember journeys. Like, how is it that a person remembers every scene of a film and exactly the dialogue of the character, but they can't remember, like, what somebody said outside to them, you know? It's because what they were seeing was inscribed in a value to it, and there was a significance to the event. So right now, you hearing my lecture, the significance of this is being based on your consideration. How significant are you holding it? Is someone talking about the future fascinating to you? Have you ever wondered about the future? Have you wondered about the future of the species? Have you wondered about the future of the development of the human mind that will be living in space stations and having a completely interstellar skybound life? The skybound era is coming soon. I should have been born maybe in that era, right? So the idea is that the sky will become our home. It's as if there was like, who's the king of the jungle? We're like, yo, everybody's like the lion, obviously, and somebody's like, no, the eagle. And they say, like, what do you mean the eagle, right? And we're like, the eagle is the king of the jungle because the jungle is a three-dimensional sphere. The lion is the king of the two-dimensional land. The king of the three-dimensional land is a bird. So a bird is actually the king of the forest, right? Because it can go beyond it. That means the person who's worthy to become king, in their mind, they are beyond kinghood. They're saying something superior. It's the vision that opens the heart to trust in the vision, in the vision itself. It's honestly, I realized this, you people might not believe this, but I realized this when I lived in Dubai for 6 months. I'm in Canada now and I'll be going back. I realized that everybody is worshiping something. Everybody. You're worshiping yourself. You're worshiping either yourself, either your world, either others, either a language, either, desire. You know, the attention is always on something. It's impossible to say, I don't believe in anything. It's like saying my attention is nowhere. It's impossible. So the attention is on a certain framework of reality. The question is, when we look at something, like imagine you're going for a walk and you're listening to this talk. So when you see the geometry of your realm, suddenly it's not just the car you're looking at. It's not just the building. It's a dimension of vision. It's an angle of vision. And what is in your vision? What is in the scope of your eyes? What is in the scope of your ears? What is this in the scope of your sensations? And how truly advanced is humanity? So guys, I'm gonna end it actually here. I'll say my final words. There will come a time where the human mind will become as comfortable as it is with navigating on a two-dimensional plane. It will be comfortable navigating in three-dimensional space. That means when floating anti-gravity or flight technology is somehow made, senior citizens are going to have the best time of their life. They're just going to float everywhere. In the future, you're going to see old people just hovering in the air and getting to places with like some energetic like force field capsule around them to be always safe. AI is going to make our lives easier. Pretty much it's a bell curve, and in all the areas that are not the top of the bell, right, are not the top of the curve, or all the areas AI is going to bring up to the curve. So what that means is right now it's not just the advancement of civilization, it's the advancement of the lifestyle of the human being. To be in an advanced civilization is like an advanced being is living alongside a collective entity. That's what an advanced civilization is, because the most advanced is not something that is lifeless. It's not just a car without a driver. It's the driver's will. There is a force that moves things. There is a force that moves things, accumulates information. That information can be used to endlessly update. Thank you for listening. An advanced civilization is the future's birthright.